Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CMAtics video session 264. So basically in today's video, we will just cover the remaining questions. I think there were just two questions left and we will just, have an overall walkthrough of whatever we have discussed. Again, in today's video also, we won't be starting with any SAQl, but we will do a complete revision and, firstly, we will just walk through the leftover question. The first question was, what is the relationship between that opportunity op ID and the partner ID? Like why is needed? And there can be a question like why can't one particular partner do everything for a particular deal? That can be another question as well, right? Let's see. Okay. Now, a partner can influence many deals and a deal can be influenced by many partners. How is that possible? So you might have this question that, hey, how is it possible? Like one particular op, for example, like one particular op, yeah, like for example, this P1, if you see this particular partner is actually influencing many opportunities or many deals. So how come like one particular partner can influence many deals and it can be vice versa as well? Like here, particularly, I think I don't have that example, but it might just happen like, let's say, for example, O1, it the partner ID is P1 as well as, the O1 can also be dealt with another partner, let's say P3. That also can be possible. In this example, it is not there. Okay. So not an issue. Let's understand like one partner influencing many deals. Deal is opportunity. Fine. So let's understand like how Infosys has helped. So this is answering the first question, like how one partner can influence many deals, right? For example, you have let's say P1, okay, which was Accenture, like Accenture influencing O1 as well as Accenture influencing O3. Now see, this is something which is common. I mean, basically in IT industry, that's the whole idea about the service-based industry, right? So you have something called as a product-based industry where, there are different kind of product companies, let's say Salesforce and others. Then there are service-based industries, right? Like TCS, Infosys, Cognizant, Wipro, Tech Mahindra. Fine. So what the service companies does, they actually works for many clients. They are not restricted towards one particular client. They have multiple clients. They solve multiple clients and multiple problems of clients, right? So that actually makes sense, like how one partner can deal with many opportunities, right? So that is what is written over here at the end of the day. Like you have this deal one, let's say how Infosys help them, maybe just introduce the customer, right? And maybe for deal two, they did a technical validation. So for example, there's some kind of CRMA analytics product they are using and they just need to do a technical validation of how the recipe is running, how the recipe needs to be set, or how the dashboard needs to be built. That kind of technical validation can be done. Maybe for deal three, this example is not there, of course, in my table, but I'm just explaining the question. For deal three, maybe they are just helping them in co-selling. So co-selling is like they already have certain sales people who are there, but they are just influencing the customer. So they've already had certain customer, for example, let's say customer one. So that kind of customer, maybe they were using certain tools, let's say MySQL, or maybe it can be some other tools as well. Let's say Click. So maybe they shifted them to the Salesforce CMatics and they had actually given their opinion like how shifting from Click to Salesforce CMatics can help them in a big way. And in that way, they just influence the customers who was there, who was already working with Infosys, for example. So this way, these things can happen. So they will have different customer base, and to each one of them, they can actually provide different kind of work. Okay, they can provide different type of service. It's not necessary that if one particular client is using CRM analytics, they are going to provide the technical version. There can be many reasons for that. Maybe budget issue can be one of them, but they will definitely have a role in many clients for sure. So that's the answer for that. That basically for all this deal, this is how the Infosys, let's say, is helping them. So deal two is like technical validation, deal four could be for solution design. Like they are designing the complete solution, like from end to end, the complete functionality, what needs to be done on recipe data flow, as well as the dashboard. They're helping them on that complete pipeline. Technical validation is like they are doing nothing, but they are checking what has already been implemented and they are just suggesting what are the changes which will be required. Now, one deal influenced by many partners. So, for example, there is one particular deal, let's say 01. So, Infosys has helped for introducing customer, and maybe Deloitte is helping for the compliance consulting. So, in CMIDs, we deal with security predicate. I have already taught you that part, right? Which actually restricts the row level security. So different people existing in different continents or depending on the hierarchy, they need to see certain data. Now, Deloitte is actually famous already for this compliance consulting, let's say. So there's one particular deal, let's say OP01. Now, OP01, maybe they are taking help of Infosys for, maybe they introduce help them for introducing the customers and maybe introducing the product itself, Salesforce CMatics. And Deloitte, what is doing? They are just helping to get the compliance consulting. Like the data is ready with you, but are the relevant people seeing the data? So that kind of compliance they can be doing. Certain KPIs which has been reflected, are they really showing the exact numbers? The numbers which were there in click, has the number got changed due to some technical work which had been done in the CRM? So that's more like a compliance consulting. That answers like one deal can be influenced by many partners as well. And in case you have been working in the IT industry, especially for the service-based companies, you must have seen there is one client and they have multiple service-based companies partners. That's how it works. Sometimes you have this CRM project where they might have multiple dashboard. Let's say they were using a particular data analytics tool, let's say Click, and there had been existing, for example, let's say 20 plus dashboards. Now they want to transfer all the dashboards, and at the same time they have certain deadlines to meet. So maybe they may not completely trust one particular partner. Maybe they may, like, they might have a good bonding with, for example, let's say Infosys or Accenture or Cognizant, but they might not want one particular service-based industry to do all the work. It can be, maybe that particular client or that particular service-based company may not have that many CRM resource. Maybe they need some high-level experience. So let's say there is certain constraints in the number of experienced people of CRM available in a particular service-based company. So certain work can be assigned, and certain other dashboard, maybe they want some other service-based company to look into it. So that way it happens anyhow. So I think many people might be just knowing this, that how that is possible, that one particular deal can be worked upon by many partners and how one partner can also work upon many deals. So the second part is something which is known to you, but the first part, I hope it's clear with this explanation. Now, another thing is like, why can't one partner do everything all the time? Right? So you might say that why different ID, like why different deals need different partners? That can be a very relevant question. But again, we have seen that it's not possible. It's maybe due to the deadline which needs to be met, maybe because there's certain sprint planning which is done and they have some strict deadlines to meet, and it might just have a bad repercussion on them in case they just depend on one particular service-based company. Or let's say one particular service-based company may not have that many experienced CRM resource, but their timeline is very much aggressive and that needs to be delivered. That can be reason, but yeah, we can read this as well, because big deals are not just buying a product. When you are dealing with big deals, when you're dealing with big clients, it's not just buying a product. They involve business trust, they involve technical confidence. So there are certain, like let's say there's a particular client, they are working across different I mean, they have different service-based companies who are delivering their, but what kind of work? Maybe some will help them to understand the business process. Some can help them for the technical parts. Some can help them for the legal and compliance. Maybe there's a particular client and they know that a service-based company like Deloitte can actually help them handle the compliance issue in case there is any. Maybe there can be certain company, let's say Infosys, who can help them actually in ensuring the complete technical part is done. This is just an example, of course. And long-term implementation support. So what happens when you have developed a particular product, sometimes the implementation support is required. Let's say they hired Infosys and Infosys had built them that complete structure, the complete dashboard, which they needed on the Salesforce CRM. But some support work is also required. And maybe the budget which Infosys is charging is quite high. Maybe that particular budget is something the particular client may not want to give it. So that's why in that case, they might hire a different company where the budget can be less, who can just provide the support part. Because support is like one just needs to check that if everything is working fine on the recipe. Let's say there can be certain situation where the complete dashboard is built. They have to just add one particular more field on the values table. So in that case, a support team is enough. And maybe they don't want to uh, provide that much of money for that support part. So in that case, they might go for certain clients who are willing to go for that constrained budget. So there are many ways, and no single partner is best at all of this. So when I say best, like for example, somebody has given the technical confidence, the technical information, but maybe from long time implementation, they may not be the best in terms of budget. Like of course, some people over there can do who actually develop that, but it doesn't make sense to the client will feel that to provide that much of budget just for support activities will not make sense, and they can actually take help from other service-based companies in that case. So just like in real life, one doctor does surgery, another does diagnosis, another does rehabilitation. Same with partners. So in the medical field, you will never have one doctor who can actually take care of everything about yours illness, right? They cannot diagnose everything related to illness. Sometimes, if the illness is a bit major one, they will actually send you some expert doctors who are particularly dealing with those serious illness. Sometimes if just a checkup kind of a thing, then definitely normal doctor, if you go to a normal clinic, they can help you out. But sometimes where it requires certain particular serious surgery, they will recommend you to some other doctors. So just like it doesn't happen, similarly, it's a big project. Like when you are dealing with one particular, it can be a big project like shifting from let's say click to dashboard, or building a certain particular dashboard from scratch, and they're taking the Salesforce CRM product. So that involves a lot of activities. It's not just one particular activity. So in that way, one partner cannot do everything all the time. So that was the explanation about this. I hope it's clear. Like we already walked through all these questions. Why we didn't give the partner name column directly. I mentioned that part, right? It's basically like in real system, that's not the way it works. And analytics is all about correct data. It's not about easy data, right? Similarly, I answered like why a partner can influence many deals and a deal can influence many partners, and why one partner cannot do everything all the time for a particular deal. So this was the tables which we had, the opportunities, which means the deals stages, like how it goes through certain sections, like how a particular customer is very much interested to buy that product. It helps to develop a certainty. Then we have the activities, which just kind of provides an overview of the interaction which is happening. Okay. Then we have the referrals for influencing the deal, who may not have a particular role to play, direct role to play, but they're definitely influencing, and what that map is happening. I explained you what is the meaning of each one of these tables, like what is the meaning of opportunity, opportunity stage, opportunity activities, opportunity partner. This is an overview, like opportunity is just like tracking the deal, tracking the sales. Stages is like it's a deal progress history. You can just remember it as like how the tracks is progressing. Fine. It doesn't show time. It shows certainty, like how certain the customer is. Activities is like it's a kind of interaction, like how it's working the deal. Okay. So something which we have learned over here, like basically it represents engagement. At the end of the activity is like more of an engagement which is happening. There's no certainty that the deal will be taken, but if they follow up with calls, if they follow up with meetings, there can come a certain time where the customer might be very much interested to buy that product. Similarly, the partner refers how it acts as an external influence, and the opportunity and that how it connects influence to deals. Then, of course, we understood the meaning of each state, and these are some of the scenario-based questions. Okay, we will of course walk through this one by one. But remember one thing that once you upload it, as I mentioned in one of my videos as well, the opportunity sales I have just mentioned is opportunity sales life cycle. Maybe you can also mention, you can mention any other names, but when I'll be writing the SQL code, this will be the dataset name. For stage, it's like sales life cycle in the code, and others it was as it is. Okay. So yeah, we can go through this scenario, like show all official tried opportunities along with count of related stage and activities if they exist. Show all opportunities that demonstrate sales engagement through official registration stage progression, act partner involvement, even if they are not officially registered. And similarly, we have the scenario 3, show only opportunities that have progressed in the sales process, meaning they have at least one stage, and enrich them with activities and partner signals if available. And then we have the scenario 4 and scenario 5. We will walk through one by one, but ensure that you have this ready. Okay, this data set ready. I already know how to upload that. And yeah, we'll walk through the scenario from the next. So I hope you got a complete picture of what is the meaning of each of this table and the stage. And I hope the business context is completely clear too. So yeah, that's it about this. And let's meet very soon now. Next one.